What's going on, you beautiful people? Welcome to another video. Last night I was watching this video on YouTube. The title was The Truth About African Crime in Melbourne. And as I was watching the video, I realized, oh my god, this is why people are protesting in Melbourne. I'm just going to try to make sense of it all and explain why actually that's happening, because that's what I found out last night. Let's watch this together and I'll break it down.
Yeah, Brimbank 150, just to let you know, we're code 1 and we'll be patrolling around the Sunshine CBD.
Detective Acting Inspector Helen Chugg and Senior Sergeant Jason Forster are out on patrol in Melbourne's northwestern suburbs.
260, how many suspects are we looking for?
21 Hot Egg Burg and a vehicle stolen. 4 offenders that have jumped into the complainant's vehicle and decamped from the address 2 minutes ago. It's 4 male heads on board, hoodies, jeans, Caucasian, 2 dark-skinned males. Don't have a direction of travel.
So where was the car last seen? Okay, so what's the situation there now?
Reports of a home invasion are coming in.
Front flywire door was unlocked. The solid timber door behind it was locked. They've kicked that in, damaged the lock. 4 family members were seated around the kitchen table, made a demand for keys to the Audi. Then they've decamped back out the front door, got in the Audi, drove off.
Right here and there. This is crazy. You're sitting at your home, having dinner with your family. The door is locked. You're not even leaving it unlocked. The door is locked. Someone kicks in the door, breaks the lock, comes in and demands the keys to your car. And takes it and leaves with your car. Right.
In March, Leah and her husband Gavin were asleep when 4 teenagers broke down their back door.
I just remember just yelling and just screaming at us to just shut up and just give us money, and Gavin got out of the bed and physically pushed. We had 2 of them in the room and he got up and physically pushed them out and shut the bedroom door on them. He's then grabbed a baseball bat from underneath the bed, at which point a hammer's come through the bedroom door multiple times of them trying to get in with us, with literally our entire body weight on the door, trying to prevent them from getting to us.
Home security cameras captured Gavin chasing the young men out the front, but he couldn't stop them stealing both their cars.
It's too traumatising for me to go back there and remember it. I don't know how they can say that the crime rate is falling, because everyone I know nobody feels safe.
The teenagers, described as being of African appearance, are still on the run.
Every time I see a black person down the street or just anywhere, it's like a trigger. Before all of this happened, I wasn't scared of black people or people of colour or whatever, but now it's like I can't even face someone in a store that's black because of what's happened to me. And I think that's really unfair. It shouldn't be like that.
It's really hard to see another black person and not associate it with that. If the thieves were Arabs, she probably would feel the same about Arabs. If they were Chinese, she probably feel the same thing about Chinese.
We just need to call it for what it is, if it's African gang violence.
African gangs running riots, terrorising, robbing, wreaking havoc.
People are scared to go out to restaurants at night time because they're followed home by these gangs.
You guys know what you want? What's everyone? Yeah. They have to sit outside, bro.
You feel like you have to be on your best behavior 24/7 because you feel like you're representing your skin color for everyone that's just like you. So you have to be this extra nice person, like extra smile. Even if you're not feeling it that day, you just have to have a smile on because if you don't, you look scary. You get stared at. It's like, imagine someone's looking through you or like looking, like, you know, like someone's eyes are just burning the side of your head. That's what it feels like, essentially.
That's good. I've got mixed garlic and sweet chili. I've got mixed garlic and sweet chili again.
Think about it. Why do people stare at them? Why do people have a doubt? Maybe they're up to no good. Because they've experienced it in the past. Because they've seen it in the past. That if there's a gang of young black kids, most definitely there's something's going down. If they walk into a store owners know from experience that their shit gets stolen. Who's to blame for that? It's themselves. If all the kids were studying to be doctors and lawyers, then there will be a stereotype that all African kids want to be doctors and lawyers, like Asian kids.
Every day, I have to try to convince you, oh, I'm Australian. I think, you know what? We know we're Australian. We grew up here. Who do we have to? Why should I have to convince you I'm Australian?
You don't have to convince anyone you're Australian, but what you need to do is actually convince people that you're not a criminal. Why is that? Because there is an image associated with friends, family, people of your nation. Why is that? It's because results, history. It's because there's been a lot of it. The simple way to start fixing that is what you just said. Act straight, be nice, smile, be good, don't cause trouble.
You gotta realize it's like 1% of us, right? There's crime in every single race. There's people that commit crime in every single race. But with us, for some reason, it gets put onto the whole culture. Our whole, culture gets blamed for the actions of the few now.
The reason is because there's a high proportion of your population that are committing these crimes.
Two armed gangs of young thugs are threatening a violent confrontation at tonight's Moomba festival.
Police arrived to reclaim the streets, but it was too late and they were outnumbered.
The focus on African gang crime began in March 2016, when violence broke out at the Moomba Festival at Federation Square in the centre of Melbourne. Police charged 37 people over the Moomba violence. Several were linked to a group known as the Apex Gang.
Victoria Police are facing further criticism with claims they've lost control to street gangs.
We have mayhem, we have anarchy.
There is a specific problem in Victoria to do with people of African background.
We need true law and order, we need safety.
I don't see it as a violent African gang crisis, no. Certainly we have an issue. We have an issue with our youth in this state, but I believe that we are containing that issue.
People born in Sudan make up 0.1% of Victoria's population, but account for 1% of the state's alleged criminal offenders. Young Sudanese males are overrepresented in certain violent crimes, allegedly committing close to 10% of aggravated robberies.
And now there's a new threat to public safety, a gang calling itself Menace to Society.
The members of 66 Records are acutely aware of how many see them, and they play up to that image.
But first, this report.
I'm ready for that war.
In this video, they mock the commercial media's coverage of African gangs, while they jump around with knives and rap about committing crime.
We just some young kids being creative, like, it's like a movie to us, It's like we made our own movie, but we're getting crucified for it, basically. I don't know.
So, you're a bunch of people that everyone thinks you're running around with knives and stabbing people and committing crimes. Then what you do is you decide to make a rap video and a group that does exactly that. That's definitely not going to help your case of saying that you're not a criminal.
In September, 66 Records held their official launch party at the Gasometer Hotel in Collingwood. It was one of the biggest nights for young South Sudanese people all year. And in the current climate, both police and 66 Records were on high alert.
We had legal advisors at the show and outside the show. I had warned the police about, obviously, the amount of people we expected to come. And what else? John put out a statement telling the crowd to not give the public and the police what they wanted, is Sudanese kids fighting. And
police had met several times with 66 Records and the venue to discuss security. They had concerns about some of the people attending.
They are people that we manage through Operation Wayward because of their criminal history, and they're either on bail or there's some sort of, I guess, other intelligence at play which informs us or suggests to us they're actively involved in criminal activity.
Titan was there as a trained legal observer to try and make sure there was no trouble.
I was upstairs just watching the performance and stuff, right? I was like, yeah, this is amazing. And seeing people smile, people dance, I was proud.
the police had came, walked in while, we were performing, and it seemed like everything was secured.
But at around 2:30 a.m, once the main performance was over, a fight broke out.
Someone got punched inside, right? And then their friends went to defend them, where it's like, oh yeah, I just got punched. It's like, why'd you punch my cousin and stuff like that, right? And then that just escalated.
Everybody, can you please listen? Everybody go outside.
When did I try to break it up? We broke it up.
More than 200 people caused mayhem in Collingwood after a violent brawl broke out, fuelled by a group of youths.
So things were taken outside, and those guys were beginning to fight with the other group, but they were outnumbered. So one of their friends got into his car.
I'm screaming at people, move, get off the road and stuff, right? People start getting off to the left side. There's still a group of people there. I see this guy come, drive into the group of people, right?
A car hit the crowd. A 19-year-old South Sudanese man faces multiple charges. Arrow's 18-year-old cousin was badly injured. His leg was later amputated.
Mainly when I first walked out, it was the fear of what could happen with the kids because there was that many of them.
David Driscoll lives around the corner from the park.
They do all these criminal acts, and then you see on the news and all that they get away with it. Why do they get away with it? African gangs are here. The government and councils and the police say they're not here. They are here, and residents are scared.
A police helicopter and the riot squad were called in. The kids threw rocks at police, and a patrol car had its back window smashed. No injuries were reported and no arrests were made.
The group of about 100 youths, mostly of African appearance, had met up with plans to fight each other.
Media reports said 100 African youths were there that night. Police say the number was closer to 30.
At the end of the day, people just want a safe city to live in and they want the police to do their job. People will protest if they see that's not what's happening, if they see their voices not being heard. Obviously there's a problem and we need to address it. Ignoring the problem is not the way to fix it.